Well, Channels Television has been following the fuel scarcity story, especially the traffic gridlock, which is our big story on the program today, around Apapa Tinkan Island area that has kept petrol tankers laden with petroleum products, and of course other tankers were coming in to the ports to offload and of course to carry containers with goods and products out, have been at a standstill. Correspondent Loretta Chiogo has been tracking this. She's been to Apapa, and well, I'm guessing the traffic actually got to her because she turned back and is back here with me in the studio. Thank you so much, Loretta, for coming in. Good morning. And
morning to you, Harriet.
Well, the traffic is, you know, really astronomical. The NAGAF president just left here. That's the National Association of Government-Approved Freight Forwarders, and he said that, you know, the association actually had had a meeting yesterday with the Customs Consultative Council, talking about the situation, a situation that they've always had to deal with anyway. Apapa has always been congested, but this time around, it's way too much. We've been playing back your report, you know, talking about how you've been monitoring the situation, and you actually started out heading towards there this morning, but why did you turn back?
Of course, the traffic was part of the reason why we had to. But again, what I saw on the day I did that report was people were blessed with so much resources, but still lacking. It behoves on us to also look at what the tanker drivers, the commercial motorists, and even the private motorists, you know, went through that harrowing effect. You know, we had to pull over from a point where we knew that there was no go area anymore. We had to pull over and then do some trekking so I could, you know, identify and visualize what I saw and then be sure that this is what I'm seeing. We had to, I and the cameraman had to trek some distances, you know, to just look at what the situation was.
But then you also
I tell you that you had hundreds of tankers all lined up there. Yes, hundreds. This is what you're saying. Hundreds of tankers lined up there. And at a point, some of them just put off the ignition because they knew there was no-go area. And then some of them would come down, ease themselves, go back to their vehicles, and then sit there for a while. You could see how it looked as if Loretta was very brave standing in between the tankers. But you know what gave me that attitude, let me put it that way, was because I knew they were not moving. The tankers were not moving. There was no road for them to move because a lot of them were heading towards the depot. And of course, the depots were all jam-packed. And if a particular tanker is on the line and you're not yet filled up, you can't move. And so it keeps elongating the traffic. The traffic gridlock keeps getting longer. And you could also visualize from what you saw from that report, you could also see vehicles, private vehicles.
Yeah, but I wanted
all
to ask
lined
you,
up.
you know, I wanted to ask you, you had the opportunity of talking to you know, a couple of those in the traffic there, either the ones on the bikes or the tanker drivers themselves. What did you get from that?
I tell you, that was a point where it touched me because businesses were down. Why? Some of these people are just SMEs, small and medium scale, you know, enterprises. They fend for themselves. For example, those on the private motorcycles. It's a tough one for them to get the vehicle, to get the petrol. It's another thing for them to have the passengers ride on them because the passengers complain, look, your fees are too high.
Too high.
I can't climb on you. And then they try as much as possible to limit it to the normal amount that they charge. But of course, also remember that they're buying this fuel at a very exorbitant rate.
That's if you get it, anyway.
For one of them who I spoke with said, before the pump, the nozzle is even put into your motorcycle, you have to pay 100 naira. Now again, if you look at the report, there was somebody who spoke with me in anonymity. He's an oil marketer, and he said to me, look, we are paying some hidden charges, some charges that are not even documented. Just because of this scarcity, you have to pay more than what you normally pay. And there were fears also that perhaps the depots are drying. But, you know, this morning I spoke again with some people around there because we couldn't make our way there. And I said, what's going on this morning? And what I'm hearing is that it is even getting worse because the tankers are now going towards Sele area, which is far away from where the
Why are they going
tank
towards
farms, the line is increasing.
Okay,
so take a look, you know,
so now we have the traffic coming all the way from Apapa.
From Apapa down now to Sele, and I hear it's even now moving over towards Ikorodu Road, because of course it's going to elongate to that point when it gets to Oshodi and it keeps coming. And so visualizing me there standing in between tankers was just an effortless thing, because the tankers were not moving, and they took over the entire expressway.
No, so I wanted to quickly ask you. Yes, so we have you, Loretta, again. You know, honkering in between those tankers. But I wanted to quickly ask you, how you spoke to some of the tanker drivers. Did they tell you for how long that it's been on
There was a particular tanker driver I spoke with. He said he was driving he came in from Yola. Actually, that's from the north. He said
so from Yola, he's going to have spent probably 2 days on the road, you know, because he's driving a very big vehicle.
He said to me 6 days. Then now spending extra days on that axis, that's the Apapa axis, and he was yet to get petrol into his tank at that time. And I bet you if it's going to get today, it's 2 days going. And
so also remember that it's been 48 hours since you did the report, actually.
Yes, 48 hours. But that situation, I tell you, is worse than what you're seeing now, as of today. That situation is worse than what you're seeing now. And so, you know, there are lots of fears here and there. Again, fears of sabotage. We hear fears of the depots drying. We hear fears of sabotage, or marketers not importing fuel, or marketers trying to hoard fuel and not selling, you know, with ease. So we do not even know where we are. So we do not know where we are.
Okay. So, Loretta, thank you so much for your thoughts on the program this morning. I'm very sure somehow or the other you're going to find your way, you know, back into Apapa, because
of course.
We're definitely going to get the end of the story. But thank you, Loretta, for coming through to us this morning. Just before we go on the program, let's quickly take a look at some of the comments we got from our viewers. From @Saint_Steve9 says tank farms should be encouraged outside Lagos, and the rails should load to dry docks outside Apapa. And this other comment from, okay, it's not quite loading. But that's the program for today. We'll be talking about lockdown in Lagos, taking a look at the fuel scarcity story, especially the traffic gridlock around Apapa Tinkan Island area. Of course, Channels Television will continue to track the story for you. It's a big story because Apapa is one of the biggest seaports in West Africa, the biggest in Nigeria, and that's where most of the ships actually berth, and that's where most of the products come up from. Apart from the petroleum products that come up from there, we also have other products, consumer goods products that come up from there as well. So we have other tankers, other containers going in and trying to come out at the same time. It's a situation that is quite worrisome, and it's a situation that we will continue to track here on Business Morning. Of course, that's it on the show for today. Thank you so much for being a part of it. I'm Harriet Agbin. Bye-bye.